It was a pretty impressive week when it came to penalties assessed and appeals that happened in the world of NASCAR. Now, some of them don't surprise me. Some of them are actually kind of, counterproductive to NASCAR, I believe. Kind of like people have been saying about F1, even their own guys for, a while now. It's just consistency would not kill them, but at least, it happened and we see the precedent and now we see what they do going forward and when they screw themselves again, piss everyone off because that's what they do. But good to get those answers. I'll go over that, later after all of that. And I'm really excited to see what this new car does at the Roval after, all the just random spins at the Indy road course, people just going around all on their own out of nowhere. I'm very intrigued to see how it performs here. Again, it's built for road courses. I mean, with everything they did, it's much more for that. And I think that's, just another test. And I love the Roval. I was, going to try to be there. Life happens. Too many people coming to town, but really exciting to, see it. And I'm stoked. And I get to see F1, at Suzuka finally live, hopefully. God willing, she lets me actually stay up that late because it starts late, but that's going to be a really good race too. I've seen it recorded and, repeats, so I've never seen it live. And normally the repeats aren't in whole and all that. So I think that's a really good thing. It's going to be a really good race. So set your DVR. I'm not asking anyone to stay up until when it starts, but set your DVR. It'll be a really good one. Getting into all the actual other racing, though, for real, the ARCA West is off until October 14th at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway Bull Ring for the Star Nursery 150. No entry list yet. And they have one more race after that. Obviously, ARCA East is done. Sammy Smith won the championship for a second straight year. Congratulations to him again, if I haven't said it enough times. ARCA Menards, Shore Lunch 200 at the Toledo Speedway. It's the season finale. So Saturday, 4 p.m. on MAV TV and streaming on Flow Racing. Again, if you have Pluto TV, you can get, which is free, the app. MAV TV is on there. So if you want to know how to be able to figure it out, that's a way to do it. And season finale again, and the points are going to come down to the wire here. Right now, Nick Sanchez, he had that big lead. It's now down to 2 points over Daniel Dye. And Nick's teammate, Raja Caruth, is 39 out, and everyone else is completely gone. Like, way more than 39 out. But 2 points between Nick Sanchez and Daniel Dye. That's going to come down to the wire exactly how we all prefer it to. And it's going to be a really good race. I'm really stoked for that. I hate to see it be the end of the season for them, but really excited again just to see a championship where they don't do playoffs and change all of that, come down to 2 points in the last race. That doesn't happen very often. So very excited about that. We got the F1 Honda Japanese GP Sunday. And here we go. Here's the part of the kicker at 01, which is 1 a.m. here on the East Coast for me. Do the math for wherever you are. If you're on the West Coast, hey, 10 o'clock isn't that bad. 1 a.m., not necessarily my favorite thing to be, doing at 1 a.m., but it's on ESPN. They haven't raced there since 2019 when Valtteri Bottas won, and he's still driving for Mercedes. Again, I'm not holding my breath on anyone beating Max consistently, but it could happen. I mean, you never know. It could actually happen. If we go over free practice one standings after that was all said and done, by the way, it was a real rainy day in that first session. I've not got to watch the second session in its entirety yet, but to see Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon in the Alpines first and fourth, even if it was raining, it's really good to see them both up there, especially after they're both out so early last race. So kudos to them. In FP1, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, second and third. Kevin Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, the Haas's, who had pretty wicked run of it lately, fifth and seventh. Max was sixth, Lando Norris eighth, Bottas ninth, and then Sergio Perez rounded out the top 10. And if you look there, you got Daniel Ricciardo 12th, Lewis Hamilton 13th, his teammate George Russell all the way back in 18th, and Vettel was last in 20th. But then we get to FP2. I do have the results, so I can go over all of that for you. Again, didn't get to watch it all, but do have the numbers. I'm going to finish watching when I'm done here. But George Russell and Lewis Hamilton, Jesus, in the Mercedes coming up and running first and second, and George only, had 0.2 of a second on Lewis, but then Lewis was up by almost 9 tenths, by 8.5 tenths on third. So of Max Verstappen, and then Sergio Perez was fourth. So they figured something out there. Again, we got to see how the weather plays out and all of that does. But if that's what they could do, and you know they're all going, especially Max and them, are going as hard as they can. If they could do that, and they could be on to something real special if the weather stays that way the rest of the time. And I think it'd be really nice just to see, Mercedes getting a victory lane before the season's out. As Max has won so much, Sergio's gotten a few, Ferrari's gotten a few. It'd be nice to see a third one get in there and win it just for the sake of it, to see more teams win. But Kevin Magnussen stayed in fifth, right up there. Top 10, Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon. So both the Alpines were still in there, and seventh and ninth in free practice too. Mick Schumacher didn't run time because of wrecking his car. Dan Ricciardo still 17th, but this time Lando Norris's teammate was 16th. So we don't know what's going on there. Only time will tell what's going to happen with that. But if it keeps raining, I think it'd be really cool to see, what the Mercedes can do or what the Mercedes can do regardless. But we have to wait and see how FP3 goes and qualifying, because we've seen them run really good. Let's say, I believe it was Miami. They ran really good on Friday, and then Saturday it was just junk. Came back and finished good, but it wasn't a good day. So we'll see how that all works out. But again, until someone stops Max. I mean, if we can beat him 2 races in a row, I'll start believing it. But he's just been that good all year. He really has. Anyone that's watched it knows. And we'll see how that goes. But yeah, 0-1. So 1 a.m. on ESPN Sunday. So if you want to watch it and you're on the East Coast, it'll be a late race. If you don't want to stay up, set your DVR. I'm sure it's going to be a really good one, especially if the weather stays how it is, because it wasn't just raining. It was raining in FP1. So excited just to see how that works out. But Camper World Truck Series off until October 22nd at Homestead for the Baptist Health 200. Sad but true. I know, another 2 weeks after this, but I guess that gives Matty D more time to celebrate, because we know I'm a Matty D guy. So that was cool to see. The Xfinity Series Drive for the Cure 250, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina at the Roval, Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina, Saturday, 3 p.m. on the mothership at NBC. So that's exciting to see them get that. And the top 10 from 2021, this list should not surprise any of you. AJ Allmendinger won, Austin Cindric second, Daniel Hemrick third, Justin Haley another going on fourth, Brandon Jones fifth, then Gregson was sixth, Preston Pardus seventh, Myatt Snyder eighth, Allgaier ninth, and Sam Mayer rounding out the top 10. But again, AJ Cindric, Haley, Gregson, Snyder, Allgaier, Preston Pardus, again, where Sam Mayer did. Like Ray could have been if he didn't make some dumb mistakes at the road courses so far earlier this year. And we got a bunch of names in this one. Entry list has Sage Karam driving in the 02. Scott Heckert's in the 5 this week. James Davison is in the 18. Danielle Kavat is in the 26. Austin Wayne Self in the 32. Brad Perez in the 35. Brendan Poole's in the 52. See him back again. Chris Wright in the 68. And then Brandon Brown is in the 78 this week, and not the family car of the 68, because the way it all worked out in the financing and that. But the weird part of that is the 48 car, as of not very long ago, is still has the driver as to be announced, which is really weird as they're there right now. That one's kind of strange that they haven't announced it, but we'll wait and see what that name comes down to. Again, playoffs, aside from everything, man, I'm still gonna have to go with Junior Motorsports guys. Gregson can do it. Allgaier could do it. Sam Mayer, we saw what he could do. Like, some of them are going to be right there. Ty Gibbs, he can road race. No matter what anyone says about him, the kid can road race. I just wish that he wouldn't always, take steps forward and me saying nice things about him. And then he turns around and does something really stupid, which, I think he'll grow out of it because he's still so young, but he needs to figure it out quick. Jeremy Clements will be good. See what Hemrick can do, just because, hasn't been the greatest year for him since going over to college. And I don't know, but I mean, road racing is road racing, and that's a lot in the driver's hand. So I think he can hang in there and actually have another good run. But you also got to throw, obviously, AJ in there. He's on the top of the list. Castle up there. Myatt Snyder, because he could do it. Sheldon Creed, he didn't have that. He had a bunch of bad races of road courses, most of which wasn't his fault at all. And then Austin Hill, who you always heard him say earlier, he's not really the biggest fan of all that, but he can road race. So I think he's going to be up there as well. So out of them, someone's got to win, unless someone else sneaks one. But I just think that the field just has too much talent between the AJs, Hemricks, Gregsons, Snyders, Allgaiers, Mayers, Hills, Creeds. Man, I don't know who to pick. I'll go with AJ just because it's AJ at a road course. You'd be dumb not to, but I really don't know who to pick in this one. Just because there's so much talent. Or we could see like we saw the one year where the whole front half of the field just goes barreling into the tire wall in turn one. I don't know, but AJ, especially with the announcement that he's going to Cup next year, I think that makes him more dangerous. So I'm going with him just on that, but I think it's going to be a hell of a race, and the Gregsons and all them of the world are going to be right there, making it a very interesting race. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see who's in the 48 because again, like the race is tomorrow, and even on their own app and website, last I looked, it still said TBA, which is to be announced. That's kind of weird the day before. They normally have to figure out all kinds of other things to go with it, but only time will tell, which then gets us to the big one. NASCAR Cup Series, Bank of America Roval 400, Sunday, 2 p.m. again on the mothership and NBC, not on USA. So that's a good change of pace. And again, was going to be there. Way too much stuff going on this weekend, which sucked because it was going to be my first road race, my first time back to Charlotte in a while, but at least the racetrack in Concord, by the way. For anyone that doesn't know, which is why I love whenever I'm at a concert and like, what's up, Charlotte? Yeah, that's about 15 minutes that way, bro. But always exciting race. It's always been one of my favorite races. And if you listen to this, 2021's results, it shouldn't surprise you, but Larson won, shocker. Reddick second. I know I'm blowing minds here. Chris Buescher third. Whoa. Kyle Busch fourth. Hamlin fifth. Matty D got a sixth. So that was a good run for Matty D. Logano seventh. Christopher Bell eighth. Ryan Blaney ninth. And then Bowman was 10th. We also had Byron 11th. Chase Elliott 12th. Suarez 13th. Bubba 14th. McDowell 16th. And again, we all know I'm putting Chase up front. AJ's in the race, so I'm putting AJ up front. Reddick, Larson, Buescher. See what Kyle Busch can do. I mean, I don't know the way this year's gone. I'm just going to say, see what he could do. Hamlin, Suarez, Chastain. Like, there's going to be a lot of the same cast of characters up there. It really just comes down to pit strategy and how it all works out. And people said, I saw a bunch of posts. Do you go for a 2 pit stop strategy? Do you go for a 3 stop strategy? Like, I don't know. Because, that if it goes green, I mean, obviously one than the other. What do you do if there's a bunch of cautions and a bunch of people wrecking out? And, that plays the big part of it. And if the cars are going around like they did at the Indy Road course or anything like that, like there could be a lot of cautions, which completely screws all of that. So I have to go see how the racing is before I can actually honestly answer that question. But again, Trackhouse will be there. Hendrick will be there. Rush Fenwick Kozlowski will be there. Reddick will be there. We'll see how many of the Gibbs guys are there because, again, their program's been sketchy this year at road courses, which I didn't expect. But AJ Allmendinger, I'm also going to put him in there because it's the Roval, it's a road case course, and it's AJ Allmendinger. So he should be good. He's in the 16 this weekend, Daniel Kvyat. And then 26, Loris Heisman's in the 27th. Noah's in the 48 again because of Bowman's concussion. I'm glad he took the time off again. Had a few of them. Take it off until you're fully ready, especially with that G's and everything you're doing. Don't rush back. Connor Daly's in the 50. Mike Rockefeller's in the 77 over Castle, who's in there a bunch, which I don't like, but give someone an opportunity, and Castle's running good. In the Xfinity Series, full-time and good equipment, so I'm a little less hostile about it. But, we'll see how it all plays out. See how, Kevin runs without having Rodney there, because the suspension. Like, there's a lot going on. I give you that cast of characters, AJ and Larson and Reddick. Let those, one of them, Chase Elliott, one of those four will probably end up winning it. I think Blaney will be up there because Blaney's always been up there at the Roval. He did get a win by stealing one over, like all of that. And wins win, but he's always up front. I think he's going to have a good run. I just want to see what the car does first. So, because I could say everything I want, and people could just be spinning again, left, right, and indifferently, and get a lot of cautions or tires or any kind of issue, and we could have a big problem, which throws all strategy and all of that out the window. But it should be really good racing. Again, I'm always excited when they go to the Roval. Maybe it's just because it's right down the road, 4.5 hours or so. So, spend a lot of music festivals on the facilities and on the grounds of Charlotte Motor Speedway, like lots of that. So it just has a special place in my heart. Been to a Coke 600, been to all kinds of stuff. So got to see how it works out. But again, I'm going to wait until I see the cars on track before I follow the Twitter thing. Racing Rosinski or Blonde, BLOND, Beast Sport on there for the sports show. And, you'll see whatever I pick after the first couple of laps. Because again, I just want to see what the cars are going to do on track because no one expected the cars just go around like they did at the Indy road course. And look how many of them are just all on their own. So we'll see how it plays out. But there's a lot to see how it all goes. And I also mentioned the penalties earlier. Harvick, and then getting hit with an L2 for modification of a single source part, which means Rodney lost 100 grand. Rodney suspended for 4 races, and Kevin lost 100 points, I believe, driver and owner. And that's a big one. I don't think they're gonna appeal it. I mean, they will, but yeah, they can. I don't know if they're going to. But that was a big one for him to lose Rodney for that long. And I'd really like to know, what it was. I wish NASCAR did better at that. Like, if you're gonna tell us, here's what he got suspended for, because they modified a part. How about you break it down? Tell us exactly what they did. What people would probably be much nicer to the sport as a whole if they actually just told us why they are suspending him. What part? What did they do? Be more open and transparent about it. And believe it or not, people will be nicer. It's not really the hardest concept. And then the appeals board overturned William Byron's point penalties, gave him his penalties 25 points back. So now he's back above the cut line, but they doubled his fine from 50 to 100K. And again, for spinning Hamlin on pit road. So we got to see if they could stay consistent with that because, well, about as consistent as goose shit. They're not really good. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Let me know what you think about all the action. Again, follow along on all the socials. I'll be live tweeting during as many of the races as I can. And until we meet again, my friends, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the racing, and peace.